You know what? Let's just try to forget about last year's Hell in a Cell. That was a fucking disaster, for lack of a better term. Try to look forward to it this year, you know? I would say that we're off to a better start, but it's kind of complicated. Right now, we have three, yeah, that's right, not one, not two, but three Hell in a Cell matches, which is overkill for a pay-per-view of this type. And one of them just happens to be also a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. How is that going to work? Well, we'll just have to get into it when all is said and done. But yeah, this year's Hell in a Cell. I thought this would be the last pay-per-view from the Thunderdome, but it's not. WWE has extended their deal with the Amway Center to run it through at least November. So they'll run at least Survivor Series and what have you through there. But yeah, we'll just see. But yeah, who knows? I mean, some of the matches, they do warrant it to a degree, their Hell in a Cell status, but there can be too much, so there can be only too much as a good thing, too much of a good thing. But even with what, you know what, yeah, but let's just hope this year's better. I'm Coffee Lover 239, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a big important announcement. After some time, we've cleared the air, not like literally last hour before we started recording this, and ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that my long-lost partner in crime is Orange Cassidy's personal hype man, Heathy, is back! Welcome back, Heathy. We've missed your presence.
Good to get back to work. Let's go make some sound bites.
Yes, indeed. And of course, joining us as always is our resident John Moxley stan, Steven.
Yo, what up, everyone? It's Coffee Touch. Okay, it's Dude here. How's everyone doing?
You madman. Even when things seemingly are back fully, why do I have some feelings of things? Whatever, let's just get into the pay-per-view itself. Our first match on the table is Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Yeah, you thought Hell in a Cell was enough as? No, why don't we up the ante and make it an I Quit match on top of that? So at Clash of Champions, Roman Reigns defeated Jey Uso to retain the Universal Championship after Jey's injured brother Jimmy Uso threw in the towel to stop Reigns from repeatedly assaulting Jey into forcing him to acknowledge Reigns as the tribal chief of the Anoa'i family. Although Jey refused, Jimmy reluctantly acknowledged Reigns as the tribal chief after the match. On the following SmackDown, a celebration ceremony was held to crown Reigns as the tribal chief, but Reigns refused to be named as such because Jey did not acknowledge him, and Reigns called out Jey for a talk. After Jey continued to eye the Universal Championship, Reigns gave Jey another title shot at Hell in a Cell with the highest stakes of any, match in WWE history, which Jey accepted. The match was confirmed as a Hell in a Cell match the next day. The following week, Reigns stated that he wanted to hear Jey say, "I quit," turning the match into the first ever I Quit match contested inside the Hell in a Cell structure. Now, I have to admit, this storyline here with Roman Reigns finally turning heel and aligning himself with Paul Heyman, acknowledging himself as no longer the big dog but the tribal chief, this has actually been a pretty damn good thing too. This has been a much needed change. I probably acknowledged this enough after what happened last time leading into Clash of Champions, but I can't state that enough that this is such a relief too. And despite what little storyline this may seem, it actually hasn't been too bad between, them being members of the same wrestling family, of course, Anoa'i family, or the long line of Samoan dynasty family, rather. Yeah, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is great here. And the fact that they're going to contest it inside, not just Hell in a Cell, but make it an I Quit as well. Something tells me that the whooping that Jey got last time at Clash of Champions, it's gonna be 10 times worse here, and whoo boy, pray for his soul. Heathy, who do you think's gonna win?
First of all, it's such a welcome change to see this side of Roman. I mean,
Absolutely.
us as fans we've been praying for this for the better part of 5 or so years now.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since we had this astronomical push for him back in early 2015.
Ugh.
So to see this and have Roman explore different avenues and to explore his bloodline, go into that Samoan heritage, the one that WWE love to promote with Haku, Manu, Wild Samoan, The Rock, of course,
Mhm.
the Usos getting involved with this with Roman. Pulling back the curtain a bit for any listeners, today we are recording this on a Friday afternoon. SmackDown is yet to air, and we're getting rumours that, well, not rumours, concrete fact, that Roman Reigns will be announcing one more stipulation, a consequence if Jey Uso is to say I quit,
Oh.
a losing stipulation. So that's another layer to this absolutely stacked cake of the matchup we're going to get, and the main event of Hell in a Cell, which I do think will be the main event with all the traction it's been getting recently. As to I think who's going to win, I mean, I've just been giving this a background because I want to have a bit of meat to my prediction, but you know, who else but Roman Reigns? I mean, this is only the start of his Universal title reign right now, and I can see him holding this for a very long time, quite a long time. I can see him holding this until maybe WrestleMania 37, where Big E maybe steps up, but for now, if you think that Jey Uso is going to win the Universal Championship, I'm going to tell you to get off your meds. I'm going with Reigns to win this one.
I see. And I never thought about that third so-called stipulation. It'll be interesting to see what it announces, or what he announces for it, possibly. Steven, who do you think's going to win?
Roman Reigns also, and I agree with you. He's going to keep at least until WrestleMania. But I don't think he's going to face Big E for it. I think he's going to face his other cousin, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Just so you know.
Christ, I don't. I'm not sure. And I'm not even sure with either of you on that one. Oh, I'm in unanimous agreement with you two about Roman Reigns winning, definitely. There ain't no way in hell he's dropping that belt, much less to Jey Uso. But I'm not even sure it should be either The Rock or Big E. Truth be told, I'm kind of thinking possibly Daniel Bryan, soon to be back in the fray of things, or possibly already, or soon to be. Yeah. I'm thinking it might be better to have Daniel Bryan, actually. That is probably the real match. Like, if you cannot get Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like, if you can't get The Rock, then go with Daniel Bryan, man, because we all know everyone rallied around him, quite frankly. They were still full-bore yes movement, and need we mention what happened in 2015 in Philadelphia at the Royal Rumble? Yeah, the less said about that, the better. But, yeah, it looks like we're all in a unanimous agreement for the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, to retain. Now, our next match is Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in our second Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. So at SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre defeated Randy Orton to retain the WWE Championship. Orton earned himself a rematch for the title of Clash of Champions, despite the fact that I don't think that should have happened, but whatever. Where McIntyre retained again, but this time in an ambulance match. During that match, several legends who Orton had attacked over the past few months returned to seek their own revenge against Orton for getting punted in the dome piece, including Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels, and Ric Flair, the latter of whom drove the ambulance. That was amusing. On the following Raw, McIntyre celebrated with the legends, but before the show ended, Orton attacked all of the legends backstage in their private lounge. The following week, Orton challenged McIntyre to a Hell in a Cell match at the namesake pay-per-view, which McIntyre accepted. Now, this one has been going on a little bit longer with this heel madness. It does have some credence, but I don't know. I feel like out of all the Hell in a Cell matches, this one is more of a wild card. If you have to think about it, because McIntyre has been champion for, gosh, since WrestleMania, man, and I went hard on that match, like, or at least I marked out hard when McIntyre won, because I was so eager to see him win and dethrone the Beast.
If you remember last year's WrestleMania, the Universal Champion and the WWE Champion, Kofi and Seth, I think they haven't had the title longer than Drew McIntyre's this year because Braun lost his title earlier this. Yeah, but Drew has been killing it as the WWE champion. I did like Kofi as the title, but
Yeah, and Drew's been fine even despite these not so subtle pandemic circumstances. Ultimately, it's just this is more of a wild card because it's been going on for a while, and there have been rumors that if Edge returns, they'll want to have Randy Orton versus Edge again, because maybe have like the so-called the rubber match between those two. But with Edge's tricep injury, that has put him out of action for a while. That may be the plan, but I'm not sure. And it's tough to say. It's like, what do you do? This match could really go either way. I thought Orton would have won the ambulance match. I was wrong, but that didn't stop me from losing the NAW European Championship, although I'm not at the moment, but that's a different story. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not sure. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I agree with Moxley to a point. I feel like McIntyre has had an awesome title reign, but somewhere between SummerSlam and Night of Champions or Clash of Champions, I feel like McIntyre's lost a bit of steam right now. And here's the thing: I think Sunday's the end game for this pay-per-view, for this feud. At this pay-per-view, it's the end. And we've seen Orton for the last 2 months lose and get title rematches. Here's the thing that annoys me: if Orton wins and that's that, McIntyre looks like an absolute idiot because Orton kept coming back for the title. So in a way, McIntyre will be 100% owed a rematch, but he'd probably walk away into a different feud because this has to be the end of the feud here. So in essence, if McIntyre were to lose, he'd be letting Orton walk away with his title without a modicum of fight back. So it makes no logical sense, but then again, this is WWE, we're talking about what is logical sense in this company. But you know what? I will go with my head and not my heart, and to be honest, my heart is going for an Orton win because I grew up watching him and seeing him have these epic legendary battles. But for now, I'm going with my head, and I hope WWE go with their head. I don't want to see Orton win the title right now. Maybe down the line, but they should have done this a month back. For now, they have to have McIntyre win and move on. So I'm going to go with McIntyre to win it.
Interesting. Steven, who do you think's going to win?
Well, there could be 2 different ways they could be going. One, they could retain Drew McIntyre and The Fiend challenges him next for the WWE Champion because I would love to see The Fiend versus Drew. To be honest,
that would be a good feud, but I want proper build-up for it as well.
But okay, here's my second thing that they could go. Randy Orton wins the title. That'd be his 14th reign, right? 14th reign. Just remember it. 14. John Cena's 15th reign. Otis catches his Money in the Bank. This was Bruce and I were talking about. Bruce cashes it on Randy Orton because he stays on Monday Night Raw with Mandy, with Tucker, and he still fused with Miz and Morrison. Hey.
No.
But this could be... With WWE, you don't know what they're going to do, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with my heart on this. I think Drew's going to retain.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too, Mox. Like, if Randy had won, that would be the only time I'd be okay. Like, if you somehow hypothetically decided, fuck it, we may as well just have Otis cash in now because we're not going to ever have this happen again. I think we realize, oh shit, we put ourselves in a bad situation with that because 00 and Roulette, everyone fucking lost that night at Money in the Bank. But yeah, truth be told, if you were to have Randy win and have Otis, I don't know, cash in the same night at the end and all, go transfer to Raw and whatever, maybe that would probably be the only circumstance I would be fine with this. However, I don't see that happening, truth be told. I really, really don't. So I'm going to go with you guys and go with Drew McIntyre on this one. Even though, just note that if we're in any other leagues, predictions behind the scenes are subject to change compared to what they are here. Keep that in mind, folks. Now let's go to the next match. And our third Hell in a Cell match for this show is Bayley versus Sasha Banks in a Hell in a Cell match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. At Payback, Bayley and Sasha Banks. What, Shayna? What the fuck am I saying? Let me try that again. At Payback, Bayley and Sasha Banks. There we go. The Golden Role Models lost the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships to the team of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. On the following SmackDown, they were unsuccessful in regaining the championship. After the match, Bayley turned on and brutalized Sasha Banks, turning the latter face in the process. I would say that would be a problem, but I don't know. After Bayley retained her SmackDown Women's Championship via disqualification at Clash of Champions, because don't even get me started on that madness there. Nikki Cross was out of action. They threw in Asuka and a cheap out finish. Yeah, but after that match, Banks appeared and attacked Bayley with a steel chair. On the following SmackDown, Banks challenged Bayley for the title on the following week's episode. Bayley won the ensuing match via disqualification. Banks won via disqualification after Bayley attacked her with the steel chair. Bayley still retained her championship, so yeah, still ultimate winner in the end, but I digress. In a backstage segment, Banks challenged Bayley to another championship match at Hell in a Cell inside the Infinite structure, which was confirmed the next day.
Wait, we got a chairs match instead, but we got a Hell in a Cell
What
match.
chairs match?
Should change it in chairs match because we got 3 Hell in a Cell matches.
I don't know, man, but I was about to get into it because I want to say, when was it that they first had their match? Takeover Brooklyn 1? How long has it been? 5 years? Yeah, it has been. Speaking of 5 years or so, 5 years after their long feud in NXT, which pretty much produced one of the best women's matches in that company's history. Years later, both of them on the main roster, they finally are going to fully duke it out one-on-one on pay-per-view. Years of animosity, years of build-up, years of stupid shit we had to deal with, like putting them in fucking counseling, like doing everything except actually having them feud with each other. After several false starts, yeah, I hated that counseling nonsense with Dr. Shelby, aka Dr. What the Fuck. And years of stupid shit and just several false starts, just paid and waiting, and it's like, all of a sudden, I just want God from Monty Python and the Holy Grail to come in and go down and go, get on with it!
I like how Dr. Shelby helped Team Hell No. That was good.
Yeah, and now here it is. We're finally getting these two inside Hell in a Cell. And with the feud basically on the opposite ends, with Sasha as the face and Bayley as the heel, and not the other way around, given how that would have technically worked better had they not screwed Bayley up all the about few years ago with you know what. What can I say except this should be something. We already know that these two are very capable, and you put them in Hell in a Cell. Oh boy, I'm hoping this one is pretty good. I'm sure it will be, but we'll just see. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
All of this talk of who's the face and who's the heel in this situation, I'm gonna be honest, both of these wrestlers have the charismatic ability to be either or, but I think they're just whiny bitches. I feel like they've been heels for quite a few months beforehand, or at least they've been a faction for quite a few months beforehand, and all of a sudden Sasha Banks is shocked when Bayley, one of the most deceptive roster members on SmackDown, turns her back on her, and all of a sudden Banks is crying like a bitch. Not a fan of this. I'm happy they're finally doing the feud. I wish it was under different circumstances, but
yeah,
you know what? Better late than never. Hopefully, if they give each other some space heading into Rumble season, maybe they do something at Mania. I'm fine with that. But who I think's going to win? I don't know. This is, out of all the matches, this is a coin toss. If you have Bayley win, then you could say either down the line for a Rumble or Mania, huge victory for Sasha, maybe when the fans are back at limited capacity, or you could have Sasha win in Hell in a Cell. But I don't know. I feel like Sasha doesn't really have. I know Sasha lost to Shit, I don't know. I don't know about this one. You know what? Okay, here's a coin.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay.
Oh my, this is gonna be something. I don't think we've ever had this happen before, folks.
Heads is Bailey, tails is Sasha.
Oh boy, this is gonna be something.
Okay, looks like I'm getting tail tonight. I'm gonna go with Sasha.
I see. Down to a literal coin toss, folks. I swear this is a first, that we've never had this happen before.
I'm gonna do it too, actually. You know what?
What? Hey, Mox, what are you... He's not serious, is he?
No,
Of course, you June. Who do you think is next? Or who do you think's gonna win?
Okay, I think the only SmackDown Women's Champion is gonna be the one, the only Oscar. No, I'm joking. Bailey.
You
Bailey.
fucking goon, man. You goon. You absolute... Oh boy, I'm gonna get you. Easy. Okay, looking at this, looks like we're back now to the old I have to break this one-way madness whatsoever.
Can I add something before?
Go on, yes.
Big black dicks.
You friggin' mother... You guys. Oh boy, that didn't take long, but if I have to look at this... Bailey has held the friggin' SmackDown Women's Champion for what? Over a year. A combined 516 days over 2 reigns. This current reign has been 376 days. It was the October 11th episode of SmackDown where she regained the belt from Android 18 Charlotte Flair. And yeah, and look at this, 1 whole year. It's been a pretty long reign, but you know what they say, all good things must come to an end.
And she was the #1 women's wrestler of all time this year.
Ranked by PWI. Oh boy.
On the male side is my favorite wrestler, John Moxley. But we'll get to that too.
Yeah, when we do the you-know-what. Okay, back to this. I'm not sure. Well, again, like I said, Bailey's held the belt for over a year now, basically. It's been a long-ass reign. I typically say all good reigns must come to an end, but I must have said similar sentiments around this time last year's event, because Sasha Banks was in this position, except going up against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Champion inside Hell in a Cell.
That was a
Great match, but again... Sasha lost, and I don't think that should be the case here. It's time for her to actually get a respectable reign, if you ask me. You know what? Yeah, it is time for her to get the reign that she deserves. A good, long reign, possibly lasting all the way up until Mania or something. Or maybe Rumble, but at least one where she actually successfully defends the belt. She's been able to do it in NXT, but could never do it on the main roster with the Raw Women's Championship. Here, though, it's time to friggin' change that. I know I said Sasha last year, and it bit me in the ass because they just kept Becky's reign going on for way too long. Even past Mania, where Shayna Baszler, even Becky herself wanted to friggin' drop the belt to Shayna Baszler, and she was actually pregnant, but no one even probably outside, none of us fans knew that, and she should have fucking dropped the belt to Shayna. But no, they stupidly screwed up. But here, though, no, that shouldn't be the case. I'm going with Sasha Banks on this one. I have to explain to one of my nieces how that Becky win was bad, and at least the fact that Becky herself wanted to drop the Shayna. All right, let's just go to the next match. Yeah, I'm going with Sasha to actually win on this one. It's time for her to get a good reign, and this is the chance.
What if this one bites you again, Coffee?
Well, stop it. Let's go. Let's just go to the next one. And our last match is Jeff Hardy versus Elias. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a reason I say continuity, fuck that shit when it comes to WWE. And this is why. There's no background information, but I still have a decent account of what happened. It all started with the Who tried to run over Elias story. this was sort of their way of basically writing him off, as he suffered a injury, I believe. I don't remember. I think it was some kind of pectoral injury or something. I don't remember, but he suffered an injury and was out for several months, only returning not long ago, actually. Yet going after Jeff Hardy, despite the fact that in storyline, it was proven that Jeff Hardy was framed by Sheamus, and even though Sheamus was moved to Raw, and it should be Elias versus Sheamus, we're not getting that because WWE cannot bother to follow their own continuity. I tell you folks, this company and their lack of care to this type of madness, this is the exact type of thing that bites these storylines in the ass and makes things more annoying. It's like, oh my god, that's not how that... Oh, just what are you guys doing?
Not full matches for NXT TakeOver 31. Now we get full matches for this kind of pay-per-view.
Yeah, TakeOver 31 was expected with that type of thing. Here, actually, maybe this might be for the better, but what can I do? Think. I don't know, man. I don't know about this match. I'm just kind of meh about this. That the continuity actually gave a damn, and we'd have you-know-what. Yeah, Heaty, who do you think's gonna win?
This is one of the matches that just gets added for the sake of, bolstering the card up, adding some meat to the card. I mean, just to go over the, predicted matches to go on the undercard, we've seen, we've gone as far as a match graphic for The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus T-Bar. Maybe something involving her business and retribution. Maybe something involving Lars Sullivan and then another match maybe involving Sami Zayn. But yeah, this card is threadbare. Much like last year's Hell in a Cell card, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't turn into like a recurring theme, and next year we're just stuck with one fuck off small match. But yeah, this is a sort of a dead duck. I think it's just to introduce people to the roster on Raw. You have the return in the Elias, you have the draft of Jeff Hardy. It's just to get eyes on the new talent. If anyone's under the notion that people are brand exclusive. No, people watch all the shows. There's not 2002 anymore. People watch both shows because neither are that amazing compared to the other. So who do I think is going to win? W matters. It's kind of a non-factor. I'm going to go with the one who has more to gain, the one that has been rumored to be within a shot of a big push. A rumor that this guy can be effortlessly put into the main event scene because they rely upon him and they trust him so much. So I'm going to go with Elias to get the winner.
I see. Steven, who do you think's going to win?
I agree. Elias, he just returned. Elias should get this one.
Yep, unanimous indeed. Back on the unanimous train. I'm going with Elias as well. He's probably, he just returned. And you're not going to have him lose that. I'm not going to have that bite me in the ass again. Like I did with friggin' Mark, with Brody Lee and friggin' Cody in TNT Championship Madness. Stop it! Stop it! You are the only motherfucker, man, who did. Or one of the only ones who did. I swear. It's like everyone's like the zero in roulette. Everyone loses. And yet you aren't even facing me for the European Championship.
I beat you once. It was a fluke.
Oh,
I'll beat you twice.
Hey, I don't have the belts, but if you win, yeah, that's another story for
boys. Those are fighting words that you're going to have to save till Full Gear.
It just depends on if he even wins the belt, that is. Because then if he does, then maybe I'll rematch for him against him so we can actually have that one-on-one match for the belt. No other shenanigans, no nothing. Just you and me. Alright, I think we're getting a little too crazy over this. See, this is more exciting than the actual match itself, folks. But what do you expect? Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Well, despite that madness here, I'm hoping this pay-per-view turns out better than last year's, and surely with what happened in the main event, you pretty much can't get any lower than that. I think we've set the bar so low that it won't even go further than, yeah, so hopefully this one just puts a notch in the mark of the last year and just kicks its ass, you know what I mean? Just kick its ass to hell and then some. I want to thank Heathy for finally being back in the hot seat and being here. So, say bye, Heathy.
Hey, 2020's come to an end. Stay strong, guys. The name of the game is rejuvenation, so just keep at it. Next year's gonna be better.
We can hope at least get over this pandemic madness. And also, I want to thank Steven/Mox for being here. Say bye, Steven.
See you guys, I will see you for Full Gear, and the next update event will be Survivor Series.
Yes, next one will be Survivor Series. This one actually may be the last one here in Thunderdome. I don't know. That one's also going to mark the 30th anniversary debut of The Undertaker as well, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, the next pay-per-view we'll actually see you guys on is indeed, next one will be Full Gear, so, see you in, a couple of weeks or so, about 2 weeks from today, October 23rd. And, yeah.
We'll soon for Full Gear. Like, Full Gear's, like, really coming soon.
Yeah, we'll be hunting goals on November 6th. So until then, thank you guys for watching, and see you then.